We've talked about the pull to still want him, even after what he's done. But there's something else about an affair that is taken from you that a lot of people don't talk about, something that you might not see coming. And that is, it takes you, it changes you. Now, it's not just about how you see him, it's not just about how you see the two of you, it's about how you see yourself. You see that you are very different. You might be thinking, I don't even recognize myself anymore. I've been a wife, I've been a partner, I've been a fixer, I've been a forgiver, and now I don't even know who I am anymore. I'm invisible in this whole story. That's what this chapter is about. It's about how our identity is really challenged when an affair happens. Because when we've spent years orbiting around somebody else's sun and we were a we, and suddenly that we is gone, we have to grieve a lot. Not just the relationship, not just the lack of trust, but we're going to have to grieve the version of ourselves that existed inside of the relationship. An affair really does trigger a full blown identity crisis. It's not just that you lose trust in that person, but you also lose trust in yourself. And for many women, it can feel like a rupture in their own mind, where nothing feels solid anymore. There's no certainty anymore. And it's really normal to feel like that. Awful, but normal. You weren't just building a life with somebody, you were building yourself inside of that life. We don't exist on an island. We exist within a structure, and that structure was your shared history. You know, it was about the future that you thought you were going to have. It was about the role that you knew how to play. All that scaffolding in your life has been shattered into pieces. And it's not surprising you're asking yourself, who the hell am I inside of this mess? Who am I in this absolute nightmare? Many women experience this in midlife. It's not bad enough that they've had an affair, but we're going through our own internal struggles. We might have poured everything into this relationship, you know, had kids together, whether they're still at home or they're grown up, but they still need us, running a house and all the invisible bloody administration that goes with that. Maybe you supported his career. Maybe you didn't do all the things you wanted in your career because of that. Maybe you were the glue that kept the rhythm of life going. You paid the bills, you organised the birthdays, you did the meals, you organised the family events. Maybe you were even caring for aging parents or in-laws. Maybe you're the one who was the glue that kept all the friendships alive. And right now, trying to hold yourself together by telling yourself, this was what I was meant to do. This is my calling, to be this woman. And for a long time, it might have really worked because it might have felt like you were exactly where you're supposed to be. But when somebody betrays us, it hits like an absolute sack of concrete. It shakes every single part of what we think, what we feel, and how we behave in our lives. As we start looking back and we start thinking about our history, we question everything. Was any of this actually real? Me as a person, do I exist outside of all of this stuff? I've been doing so much for so many people my whole life, and now what? And this isn't dramatic. This is our identity in grief. Our identity's on the floor, questioning so much stuff. It's brutal because we're not just losing the person we believed we were with, but we're losing the version of them and the version of ourselves that we really had built our entire lives around. When they have an affair, the whole story of our life is blown into a million pieces. The future that we thought we were heading towards is gone. The way we saw our relationship is gone. Even the way that we see ourselves has changed dramatically. And it's not just a case of patching things up and keeping going. It's not an edit to the story. You are going to have to rewrite the whole damn thing. But right now, you're still surrounded by the rubble of what's happened. And it's hard to rebuild anything when the bricks are still falling around you. It takes time after you find out about an affair to even just be able to notice what's going on with all the dust and the debris that's flying everywhere. This is not a reinvention story. At least it's not yet. It's about you really stopping, taking some deep breaths, and reminding yourself or acknowledging to yourself that there's going to be a new you. And that right now, sitting in this wreckage and assessing what's left is really important. I think some of the small things you can do to help you get through some of this really painful time is notice what is making you angry. You know, Like, have a good think about what is making you so absolutely furious. Because there's often truth in the anger. There's often, maybe I should have spoken up more. Maybe I should have asked for more. Maybe I should have questioned more. What's making you mad? Really dig into it. Track in your life the things that help you feel steady, the things that give you moments where you feel like your feet are back on solid ground, even if it's just for 5 minutes, because these are the threads that are going to help you get through the next month, 2, 3, 6, 12, however long it's going to take you to get through this mess. Write down who you thought you had to be in this relationship. Who were you supposed to be inside of this relationship? And ask yourself, who told you that? Was it explicit? Did they sit and tell you? Or was it just something you had a feeling about? And what I'd suggest is you don't rush it. Don't rush to get to the other side of this. You're going to have to sit with not knowing and sit with the discomfort. That is part of processing this betrayal. Underneath this intolerable pain, and I'm sure it feels like intolerable pain to you, there is going to be a new voice forming. And it's probably not going to be polished and it's probably not going to be ready, but it is going to be yours. It is really going to be yours. This is a moment in your life. This is one of those really pivotal moments. Things will change and you will get through this. I promise you that. It's not going to be easy. When somebody betrays us, it cuts away at everything that we believe about our lives. Next in After Affairs series, I'm going to be talking to you about some of the humiliation and the self-blame that people can feel after an affair comes to light. So I hope you can join me for that. Please remember that I do a live chat every single week. Please do come along and say hi. You can listen in. You can ask me questions if you'd like to. Women from around the world come and join who also have experienced affairs. If you are struggling and finding it impossible to keep going, go over to my store. There's a very inexpensive little resource there. It's a survival guide. It has lots and lots and lots of really important information that will help you get through some of this really painful stuff. In addition to that, I'd ask you please subscribe to my channel, hit the notification bell. That will tell you when the next chapter is being uploaded. And just up here in the corner of the screen will be a little tag telling you that, hey, here's a video that comes with this series. You can just wait and it will play, or you can click that icon and it will take you to the next video in the series. No matter what, I want to tell you something really important. When somebody has an affair, it is not about us. It is not about what we have done or should have done or didn't do or could have done. But it is a call to action. It's a call to action to say, what are you going to do next? And you're going to need some time to work that out. I'd like to help you with that. So I'll join you next time. Bye.